All right, so you know Macau, right? The casinos, the culture, the whole scene.
Yeah.
Well, today we're diving deep into one of Macau's most iconic spots,
Okay.
the Venetian Macao.
Yes.
It promises to transport you straight to Italy without even needing a passport.
That's quite the claim.
Our guide for today is the Maven of Macau travel blog.
They know their stuff when it comes to Macau casinos, that's for sure.
So let's start with the scale of this place.
Okay.
The Venetian boasts 3,000 suites,
Wow.
making it the third largest hotel in Macau.
That's huge.
And get this, it used to hold the title of the biggest casino in the world.
Seriously?
No kidding.
I mean, how do they even fit all that luxury in one place?
Well, let's find out. We've got those canals and gondolas, but then there's the Grand Canal shop.
oh yeah, the whole shopping experience like you're actually in Venice,
And then on top of that, there's the 15,000-seat Cotai Arena.
which draws in some big names in entertainment.
It really does.
I can just imagine winning big at the casino and then
Yeah.
heading straight to a concert. What a night that would be.
I like how you think.
It's all part of this trend in Macau, you know?
Yeah.
Shifting away from just gambling and towards creating a complete entertainment experience.
Interesting.
And the Venetian is leading the way, I'd say.
Speaking of the casino, this is where things get interesting.
Oh, really?
The Maven actually found it easier to tell us what games they don't have,
Really?
because they have pretty much everything else.
No. So what are we talking here? What don't they have?
You won't find games like Craps Fantan or Pai Gow at the Venetian.
Okay.
But get ready for this, because they more than make up for it with over 2,000 slot machines.
Wow.
Tons of electronic table games and all your classic table games with a huge range of minimum bets.
To suit everyone, basically.
From the casual players to the high rollers.
Yeah, I'm starting to see why they needed a whole blog to cover this place.
Right.
So you've got something for everyone, from the casual gambler to the serious high roller. That's right. And speaking of high rollers, let's talk Baccarat.
Ooh, Baccarat.
The Maven mentioned a minimum bet of $5,000 for those who like to play big.
That's a lot of money to be throwing around. It definitely tells you something about their target audience.
So before we empty our savings accounts, let's
Yeah.
talk about some games that might be a little more approachable.
Sounds good to me.
So what did the Maven say about blackjack?
Well, blackjack's a classic, right?
Yeah.
But it turns out the rules at the Venetian aren't as favorable to the player compared to some other casinos in Macau. It
Interesting.
makes it a little harder to win. So before you sit down at a blackjack table, it's worth understanding those differences.
You got it. Always good to get those insider tips.
Exactly.
Now, you mentioned something called a dead chip program earlier.
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
So a dead chip program basically means you can only use the chips you buy for gambling.
Okay.
They can't be cashed out directly. So it's like a commitment to playing. I see. And speaking of incentives, the Venetian sweetens the deal for their VIPs.
Oh, how so?
They offer a free night stay for every $400,000 rolled.
Wow.
Up to 3 free nights per month.
That's a pretty sweet deal for those who can afford it. Makes you think about the kind of clientele they're aiming for.
Right. Okay, maybe I need to up my game a little bit.
Uh-huh.
But even if we're not dropping 6 figures on every hand, the Venetian has some surprisingly affordable luxury.
Oh, really?
The Maven mentioned a midweek rate of just $7,750 for a suite.
That's not bad at all, considering the level of luxury we're talking about
Oh,
here.
no, right? It's pretty amazing. And then if you really want to splurge, there's this summer shopping extravaganza. Spend $300,000 at the Sands shops and boom, you get a suite upgrade.
Haha, wow, that's a lot of shopping. But it's more than just shopping, right?
Yeah.
It's about the whole experience.
Okay.
You're not just staying at a hotel. You're immersing yourself in this world of luxury entertainment and gaming.
Absolutely. All this talk about high stakes and luxury is making me hungry, though.
Me too.
So let's move on to dining. What's the food scene like at the Venetian Macao?
Well, the Maven mentions that COVID unfortunately took its toll on some of the Western restaurants,
Oh, no.
leaving McSorley's Ale House as the only one left.
So if you want a burger and a pint, that's the place to go.
Pretty much, yeah. But there's good news for fine dining fans.
Oh, tell me more.
Portofino, that upscale Italian restaurant with the amazing poolside dining.
Yeah.
It's set to reopen soon.
Oh, I love Italian food. Poolside Italian dining. Count me in.
And there's also this hidden gem tucked away inside Portofino called Spirito Bar.
I've never heard of that one.
Apparently most people don't even know about it, which makes it even more intriguing.
I agree. So we've got burgers, pints, and fancy Italian. What about some authentic Asian cuisine?
Don't worry, they've got that covered too. The Maven recommends Jiangnan, by Lung and Pinshui Yuan.
Okay.
Both are aiming for Michelin star recognition, and they offer both a la carte and set menus.
This is something for everyone.
Exactly. And if you're looking for something more budget-friendly, the Maven recommends Hero Ramen for lunch and for Northeastern Chinese cuisine.
Great options.
It shows you that you can have a fantastic meal without spending a fortune, even at a place like the Venetian.
I'm all about finding those hidden gems.
Me too.
So we've covered the casino, the suites, the dining, but the Venetian is so much more than that, right?
Oh, absolutely.
I think.
It's like they've taken the concept of a resort destination to a whole new level.
What else is there to see and do?
Well, they have a ton of family-friendly option. Have you heard of Cube?
No, what's that?
The Mason described it as a children's playground on steroids.
Haha, that sounds awesome.
It's a space filled with rainbow slides, obstacle courses, climbing nets, ball pits, video games. You name it, they've got it.
So basically a kid's dream come true.
Pretty much. They even do themed birthday parties there.
Sounds like the perfect place to let the kids run wild while the adults relax.
Exactly, yeah. And speaking of activities that appeal to both adults and kids, we can't forget about those iconic gondola rides.
Ah, yes. Those picturesque canals winding through the Grand Canal shops.
It's like stepping right into Venice. With over 50 singing gondoliers ready to serenade you, you can choose to cruise through the Grand Canal shops, or even go out onto the outdoor lagoon.
And the Maven said the tickets are pretty affordable too, especially considering the experience.
You can even book a private gondola if you want to make it extra special.
Now, after all that excitement, you might need some relaxation.
True.
And the Venetian has a luxurious spa, but there's a catch, right?
Yeah. Unfortunately, guests don't get free access to all the spa facilities.
Mm-hmm.
You have to pay extra for the sauna steam room and all the extra goodies.
Oh, that's a bit of a bummer.
Yeah, it is a little disappointing.
But hey, maybe after winning big at the casino, a little spa splurge won't seem so bad.
Exactly. It's all about perspective.
Before we move on to the next part of our Venetian adventure, I want to hear your overall thoughts on the casino. What stood out to you?
I think what's really impressive is the sheer diversity of experiences they offer. It's not just about gambling. It's about entertainment, dining relaxation, and creating a sense of escape. It's truly a destination in itself.
I think that's what makes it so appealing to people from all over the world. You're right, it's not just a casino, it's an experience.
Exactly. And there's still so much more to explore. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into the Venetian Macao in our next segment.
Can't wait. So we've covered the casino floor, those tempting suites and all the food options.
Yeah.
But there's still so much more to the Venetian Macao.
Oh, there's plenty more to uncover.
What else did the Maven find?
Well, beyond the casino, the Venetian has some pretty amazing entertainment.
Okay, like what?
The big one is the Cotai Arena.
The arena.
Yeah, they've had everyone from Manny Pacquiao to Bon Jovi perform there.
Oh, wow. That's pretty diverse.
It is. They attract a lot of Asian superstars, too. It's a really world-class venue.
So if you're going to the Venetian, it's worth checking who's performing.
Absolutely. You might get lucky.
Now, besides the big events, I remember the Maven mentioning temporary exhibitions, too.
Oh, yeah. They have everything from Ice World to dinosaur exhibits to Titanic artifacts.
Seriously.
It's a great way to keep things fresh.
Yeah, for returning visitors.
Exactly. Always something new to see.
Yeah.
And the Maven pointed out that a lot of them are pretty affordable.
Or even free.
Yeah.
That's great.
They've got one right now called Team Lab Supernature.
What's that?
Imagine a 3D interactive space where you walk among these massive moving works of art.
Sounds trippy.
It's a visual and sensory feast. Projections, holograms, meadows, balloons, psychedelic shapes and lights, walls of flowers, trampoline slides. It's crazy.
Wow. I'm adding that to my list. But if you're not into psychedelic art, what are some other entertainment options?
Was always Queb.
The children's playground.
Yeah, the Maven called it a children's playground on steroids.
So what kind of stuff are we talking about?
Oh, rainbow slides, obstacle courses, climbing nets, ball pits, video games, everything. They even have themed birthday parties.
So it really is a kid's dream. Sounds like the perfect place to let the kids tire themselves out.
Exactly. And speaking of activities that appeal to both adults and children, what about those gondola rides?
Oh, yeah, those canals through the Grand Canal shops.
Yeah, they've got over 50 singing gondoliers ready to serenade you.
I can just imagine the atmosphere, the rocking of the gondola,
Yeah.
the water, lapping the beautiful voices.
It's really something else.
It sounds so romantic.
And you can even book a private gondola if you want.
Yeah, for a special occasion.
Exactly.
Now we've explored the casino, the suites, the dining, the entertainment. We even took a gondola ride.
Yeah.
But before we wrap up this deep dive into the Venetian Macao, I'm curious about your overall thoughts. What does the Maven's insider perspective tell us about its place in the Macao casino scene?
Well, I think the Maven's insights really highlight a shift that's been happening in Macau.
Oh,
It's moving away from just being about gambling
okay.
and embracing more of a complete entertainment experience.
I see.
And the Venetian Macao is leading that charge.
It seems like they really have created a destination in itself.
They have. And they cater to all kinds of desires and budgets. Whether you're a high roller or a family on vacation, the Venetian Macao has something for you.
You're right. It's not just a place to gamble, it's a place to experience life.
Exactly.
This deep dive has been amazing.
It has.
I feel like I've only just scratched the surface.
There's always more to discover.
But before we wrap things up, what stood out to you the most? What one thing would you experience at the Venetian?
That's tough.
Hmm.
But I think I'd have to go with the Team Lab Supernature exhibit.
It does sound pretty incredible.
It really does. What about you?
I think for me, it would have to be a gondola ride.
Through the Grand Canal shops.
Yeah, it just seems so magical.
It is. It's an iconic experience.
So we've explored it all, from the casino floor to the children's playground.
We even had a virtual gondola ride.
We did. But before we go, we want to leave you with a final thought. Imagine yourself walking through those Venetian canals. Do you feel a sense of wonder and escape? Or do you question if it's all a bit fake?
Is it a genuine escape or carefully crafted spectacle?
It's an interesting question.
It really is. It speaks to how we see reality and the power of illusion. The Venetian Macao definitely blurs those lines.
And it's up to each of us to decide how we interpret that.
It is.
And that's what's so great about travel. It challenges our ideas, opens our minds, and lets us see the world in new ways. You know, it's really interesting how a place like the Venetian Macao can make people feel so many different things.
It's true. It all comes back to design and that human need to escape.
Right.
On one hand, you have this perfect replica of Venice with the canals and gondoliers.
Yeah.
But then it's all inside this huge casino resort in China.
It's like they bottled up the essence of Venice and shipped it across the world.
And that's where the debate starts. Some people think it's fake, while others see it as art and imagination.
I can see both sides. Like, do you focus on it not being real Venice?
Right.
Or do you just enjoy the show and appreciate the effort they put in?
It depends on you. Some people might think it's too much,
Yeah.
while others might find it magical.
I think that's what makes the Venetian Macao so interesting.
Definitely.
It gets people talking and makes you question what you think.
It makes you think.
That's what we love about these deep dives, right?
Absolutely.
Exploring different ideas and understanding the world better.
And with the Venetian Macao, it's like they're saying reality is what you make it.
That's a great way to put it. So whether you think the Venetian Macao is a real escape or just a fancy show, there's no doubt it sticks with you.
It makes you wonder.
It really does. It's a place that makes you think and lets you choose your own adventure.
And that's the magic of the Venetian Macao.
Yeah.
You can leave the ordinary behind, embrace the extraordinary, and create your own story.
Exactly.
So if you're ever looking for a little luxury, some excitement, maybe even a gondola ride,
Yeah.
think about adding the Venetian Macao to your travel list.
It might be the perfect place to satisfy your wanderlust and challenge how you see the world. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been fun.
And until next time, keep exploring, keep discovering, and keep diving deep into this amazing world we live in.